You're listening to a Countout Podcast. Hello everybody and welcome to Ring Post Radio. I am your host as always, Ryan Knightsey, and with me as always is Scotty Edwards. Scotty, welcome to the show. Welcome everybody to the only show that reviews wrestling. That's right, we're the only show in the existence of the internet that reviews wrestling. I'm here with Scotty. Scotty, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing wonderful. It's a good time in wrestling. It's a really good time. Like, I know last week we spent probably 20, 30 minutes complaining about like what WWE is doing, but like if you take away the releases and Vince's mission to destroy NXT, everything else in wrestling is really good. Like AEW's hitting on most of their marks. Like I feel like everything they're doing, there's always an interest value for me there now. New Japan has their USA show happening tonight. Well, yesterday, as of the time people listen to this. AAA has a show, which I'm a big fan of, just the Lucha Libre style. So that's always going to be fun. And I could, expand farther than that. I'm not going to be the Stardom mark yet, but they are in the middle of their 5-star Grand Prix, which is one of my absolute favorite things in wrestling the entire year. So it's just a lot of good things going on. And think about it. We still have the G1, which, you can have your feelings about New Japan, but they tend to not miss on those. Unfortunately, Chase Owens will probably be in it, so we'll just have to skip that. But otherwise, lots of good things, and I can't complain. Like next week we have the biggest episode of wrestling in my life just because like Rampage has me so excited for the future.
Wrestling all-time high in terms of just excitement levels, in terms of what feels like business levels as well. I mean, surely, they're not at, your classic Attitude Era TV numbers and ratings, but I don't think that's going to
never happen again.
No, I don't think those ratings will ever exist ever in our lifetime, unless streaming goes down the tube, which will never happen at this point. Wrestling's all exciting. But I'm very excited about what's on the horizon. I'm very excited what we're talking about today. It's been a good solid week of wrestling, like every week of wrestling practically at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the future, my man. I'm just excited for the future. That's all that I have in me. But right now, obviously, all I'm doing at home is I'm watching wrestling, catching up on all the wrestling I've missed in the past several months. I finally have some weeks off of work, so I'm finally able to sit down, watch some wrestling, play video games, and just talk to you and talk about wrestling and talk about the world that we live in.
Yeah, talk about wrestling is a lot of fun. And I've gotten to the point where like I can have nearly anyone to talk to about wrestling at like any time, thank God, because if I didn't, I would be very lost, because most of my day consists of either news in wrestling or watching wrestling, like, or writing, or doing this. Like most of my weeks now consist of this, and I don't know how that happened, but I am not complaining, because like you said, it's just a wonderful world of wrestling we live in. And the more the world opens up, the hopefully,
depending what happens, right?
Yeah.
Depending what happens at this point.
But like, if you didn't get excited based off of that first episode of Rampage on Friday night, then wrestling might not be for you anymore. Because I understand the complaints of AEW at times. I had them last week. Like, I made sure to put them out there.
Oh yeah.
but I loved Rampage. I loved the first episode of Rampage, and next week's Rampage is going to be a million times better because of a certain somebody. But that's besides the point. We could probably get into Rampage when you are ready.
Yeah, no, let's get into it. Why don't we? Let's just talk about this. Give a little table of contents. Let's set the table of contents here. You already kind of alluded to what we're talking about. Today we're going to talk about the sort of catching up with Stardom 5-star Grand Prix, their 5-star Grand Prix. If you never watched Stardom, we highly recommend you do. But if you've watched New Japan, it's kind of like the G1 Climax in the sense we've got this round robin tournament happening. So we're going to talk and catch up with those current standings. We're going to preview NXT TakeOver and also WWE Summerslam pay-per-views. We'll also talk about a little bit of NXT news throughout those previews. And if we have time, of course, we're going to review IWTV 100. They had their 100th title defense of what is now called the Independent Wrestling World Championship. And I'm sure Mikey has not Mikey, not Mikey, Scotty. Wow. Oh man, you never want to see that in a relationship. You never want to in the middle of something, want to call someone else's name to the middle of something. You know what I mean?
That's tough. I'll get over it. Oh, look, I'm over it. All right, cool.
Oh man, thank God. Whew, I'm sweating. My pits are stinking up. But yeah, before we get all to that, of course, we want to talk about Rampage, which happened Friday night, first episode ever of Rampage. Out of Pittsburgh, aka Britsburg. Scotty, I will go match by match here, but just overall thoughts of Rampage episode 1 itself.
It made me miss the old NXT because an hour long of wrestling, just like of TV wrestling to be exact, because that's what this is just such a good idea for, I feel like, any company, because it's not a long watch and you can get a lot done on there. And I think that's what AEW did. They gave us 3 title matches on the first night. One that I thought was far better than the other 2, of course. But I just love this plan that they have. They didn't want to, make it extend Dynamite to 3 hours. They gave them an extra hour on a different night at a unique time right after SmackDown. It's just a brilliant idea. And I know Rampage isn't always going to be live, but what it presents you is a chance to do a Rampage taping and also tape Dark and Dark Elevation if you want to, which I was thinking about last night. Like, I think that is something people can't talk about enough, because I don't know how long people are at these shows for Dynamite, but they must be there for hours, because I remember going to the second one ever and they were doing Dark tapings before and after, and the match after was the Kenny Omega Joey Janela insane match,
the unsanctioned
and I was
match.
I've been here for hours. Like, why you guys can't do this every week? Don't get me wrong, I love watching wrestling, but like at the same time, you don't want to tire out your crowd for something you're going to air. So I think doing maybe that for the first 2 hours of Rampage and then having Rampage kick in, or doing it for an hour after, depending on location, because if you're in California, you can do an hour before, hour after, something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. Good presentation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I have rambled on long enough.
I really enjoyed Rampage. I totally agree that it's a good way to, now with Dark and Elevation, it's a good way to split up and save time for people. Because I remember when I was at the Atlanta show, it was, doors open at 7. We probably left at like 10:30, 11-ish. So there's an additional hour on either end. With Elevation as well, having those matches, that's probably another hour and a half, 2 hours on either end. So it's even crazier. And this Rampage can help separate that. Well, also, the price of admission for Rampage, you can front load that with more wrestling matches. We know Lee Moriarty was one of the Dark matches at Pittsburgh, so that's a cool spot for him to be in. No, yeah, I really enjoyed Rampage. I thought it was a top-down, good presentation. I do have some issues with it. Well, not really an issue, but I really wish it was more of a aesthetic difference. I wish there was a different set. I wish there was a different color scheme. All that I saw that was really different was they got new ring aprons and barricade aprons. I don't know what the word is, covers.
I agree.
I understand like the issue with it is that extra money, obviously,
right?
But then you have to have a whole extra day to tear down and set up a whole new stage.
Yeah.
Just assuming you're in the same location. Yeah. If not, you're going to have two different crews, which may be happening at some point as well. But it's just like that frustrating aspect of that's a lot of time to do that. But it's something that I wish, at the very least, if you can't do a different set, at least do a different color scheme or something differently. They
did do a slightly different color scheme, like the orange and blue.
Yeah,
but you didn't really notice it. No.
I only noticed it for the title graphics, the name graphics of when those pop up. But besides that, I didn't notice it in the arena itself.
I guess your idea here is kind of like the Raw SmackDown thing for the past a little decades, in a sense that like you want them to look different. It's not like comparing quality or anything. It's literally just wanting the shows to be presented differently in a whole sense. And for a time there, when SmackDown went to Fox, it was like that because they had like the weird like portal thing. I think, which I actually like loved for some reason. It made no sense to me. I just liked it.
It was cool because it was a physical thing.
Yeah.
Instead of now the current LED wall.
Which is like something that I think AEW could do is maybe switch that like middle piece, the thing that used to rise for Cody.
Yes.
Like I think that would be like a simple change. Like just make it like, I don't know, lightning or something, like a lightning like looking graph, physical thing, and just put it there because changing your stage doesn't always mean you have to take it down and stuff. Like you can keep the two entrances because I think that's just wicked unique, and I've always loved how they did that. I always loved when TNA had that. So there's little changes that I definitely agree with there, but I guess that's more nitpicking than anything else.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I really wish there was just more of an aesthetic difference because you're right. It doesn't have to, you can keep the base stuff, just change some things here and there. That's not going to take that long. Right. Only take a couple hours or so, but them's the breaks, I guess. But going into Rampage proper, going into the actual matches presented to us, starting off the night, Impact World Television title on the line, and in fact changes hands when Christian Cage defeats Kenny Omega in 15 minutes and 28 seconds with kill switch.
Why did you call it the television title? It's just the world champion.
Did I say television title? Whoopsies.
I was like, it's just their world title, man.
It's the world. It's the world title that happens to also be on television.
You were just cheering on Impact last week. Now you're burying their world title. Oh my god.
Hey man, you gotta keep Impact in check. You gotta keep Impact in check sometimes. Man, but Impact World title change. Christian Cage defeats Kenny Omega.
I have a lot of thoughts about this in terms of booking this match twice. That's one like entire conversation. And then the match itself and the way that they had Omega lose. So I guess I'll break off into the actual match itself and then we could talk about them doing it twice.
Yeah, the booking, the future.
So I like this match a lot, especially for a TV match. I think, all the complaints and concerns that people had about these two facing off and would it be worth it? I thought they put those to rest. Christian's looked really good when he's had the opponent to look really good with, if that makes sense. Like, I don't give a shit when he's facing the Blade or Frankie Kazarian in 2021. I don't care. And those are two matches that have been on AEW Dynamite. But I care when he's facing a Kenny Omega, and I think what Christian's been able to do, despite people kind of falling out of love with him, despite the comeback, is that he has been a consistency. We also had to see him feud with Matt Hardy, so like, there's no better way to make someone feel less prominent than having them feud with the AEW version of Matt Hardy, because my God, I could care less about HFO as an entire unit. But I thought the match was really good. I think it definitely could be better come a pay-per-view or something, because working and watching a show or a match with commercials is never preferable. You always want to be able to watch it straight through, and I know they do the like the double screen thing, which is whatever. I have a tough time paying attention to that because it's no like atmosphere. Like watching those two wrestle without fans reacting is like great. All right, cool. But that being said, good match. I thought the way they protected Omega was very smart as well, using the chair and the kill switch, because beating Kenny is something that I really don't like the idea of until it was Hangman Page, and the fact that he's probably going to lose 2 nights in a row angers me a little. But the way they did it on television, where most people are going to see, it's fine by me.
I thought. I'm dying over here. I forgot my glass of water. Yeah, you're not a big Angelico fan, are you?
No, Angelico's hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, man, he got bucket hats on, dude.
And he does that weird dance every single time he walks out. That's about all I... Yeah, yes, that one. The one that no one else can see, but it's like...
The one where he just touches all the points of his body.
Yep, that one.
I love me and Angelico. I thought this was a great match. I thought it was very solid. I agree that, I think that they left some stuff in the tank for the future match. I think this was a solid way. I thought it was a very good match. The thing about Christian is that, like you said, he's very consistent. He's reliable in that sense. And I can understand where people have hangups about him, because his style is very much slowed down compared to a lot of other AEW talent. So it provides a difference, but it's also like a good difference because he's good at it, but it's also very different to what AEW is known and loved for. So there is like that sort of grinding of gears, right. I think, for me at least as well. I think, I prefer the high octane style. I feel like Omega slowed down here a little bit, but that it wasn't slowed down to the sense where we were at a halting pace. It was, for lack of a better term, methodical. It slowed down to a methodical point.
I love methodical paced matches. Like, I feel like methodically paced in a sense that it's not all headlocks and stuff, Yes. I'll let you continue, though.
Every move, it was slowed down to the point where it's just... Because I think methodical is really just like, to define it in terms of wrestling, for me, is... It is every move that is performed in the ring is on purpose. There's no extra flash. It's just like, here's one V trigger, and then I'm going to try that one. Here's another one, and then, that's yada, yada, yada. I think that's really what it is. Every single spot is the match. There isn't extra things happening. So if, the only difference between Christian and a Young Bucks match might be that Young Bucks do like 10 different things in between the big moments of the match, if that makes sense. But overall, I think this is right. I think there's a good way to help keep Kenny Omega protected in a sense. He is pinned. He loses 2 of his 4 titles, but he is in that protected sense because he can obviously get a rematch. Whether or not the match at All Out is also for the Impact titles on top of that, I can see maybe that happening. But we also have other matches. Look forward for Kenny Omega. I agree that I wish Adam Page was the person to beat Omega, but in the same breath, I feel like Adam Page, he needs to be the one that beats Omega. But it's less his story for me is less about him beating Omega for the title, and more so getting the title, like finally reaching the title. He's the guy that is never able to grab the crown, and now he can do it. And beating Omega, who is now seen as beatable, makes that bring So Page loses. Page loses the 10-man. He doesn't get the title shot at All Out. So and then it's like, oh, the gap between Page and Omega just got larger. Christian steps up. He brings that gap brings that gap, down so that Omega is beatable. Saturday, we have Andrade versus Omega. By the time you're hearing this, the match has already happened. I feel like Andrade's going to win that one, which brings the gap even closer between Page and Omega. That makes him even more beatable. You can see how he can be beaten. Just hit him with a chair, apparently. And I think that's what's interesting to me is that it's less about, for me, Page beating Omega. It's overcoming the champion and winning the AEW title. Who cares about the Impact title? Who cares about AAA title? The AEW title matters in Rampage. Disrespect again. Take that, Impact.
Oh my God, Impact just getting absolutely ran over. But
I'm gonna bury Impact this week.
I can see where you're coming from. I guess the All Out match can add a little more, to Kenny again, because if he's able to beat Cage this time around. I guess my whole problem with this. Like I'm happy that Christian won the Impact World Championship. He looked cool wearing the TNA belt. I know he never actually wore that belt, but a lot of people that loved Christian Cage just remember him being part of TNA. So that was a cool little moment to see. Mm-hmm. That being said, I despise them doing this match twice in a month because. Really? Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to have a great match based off this first one and how they didn't give away too much. Mm-hmm. But giving away your pay-per-view main event on television is very much a WWE move. Like, it's a very weird move. And don't get me wrong. I think, again, this match is going to be very good. But I was expecting some sort of angle where he wasn't going to get that world title match. With 2 weeks ago, that is clearly not happening. There's just no reason to do an angle.
And to add here, it's the first time it feels like AEW has ever done this.
Yes, it is. It is. But I don't like it when it happens. And I just...
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. I think it's weird.
The AEW roster has so many great singles talent, especially on the men's side, that you didn't have to do this match twice. You could have literally done the Orange Cassidy singles match if you wanted to. Like, for example, because you didn't give him the singles match the first time around, you could have done that. I will scream from the top of my lungs. You could always believe in Penta and Phoenix, even though it looks like they're getting tag team title matches, which is fine by me because that's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. It's my complaints are small complaints just because.
Yeah, these are every complaint I have more. For AEW is like nitpicky.
This is very nitpicky, and I know a lot of people are upset when Cage. I keep calling him Cage. I'm just going to call him Christian because that's what I've called him my entire life. I know a lot of people got angry at the idea that he was getting the world title match at what a lot of people feel to be their biggest pay-per-view of the year. Like, there's no WrestleMania for AEW. I feel like they build all four of their pay-per-views pretty evenly, but we all think All Out because of All In, and it just feels like this has to be their WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom, whatever you may want to call it. And the main event of Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage 2 weeks after doing it doesn't sit right completely. But based off what we've seen on Dynamite and the tease for Rampage next week, they're going to have plenty of big matches that it probably won't matter.
Yeah, I think there's obviously reasons why they're doing it. One is obviously they need Page is gone, they need to put someone else in. They've teased Christian since the last pay-per-view, so why not put him up there? He's been on a winning streak. That all makes sense and that all is good. I do think it's weird having the one match here for the Impact title, then having the next match at All Out. I do feel like they're gonna have to raise the stakes in some sense. I feel like we're gonna lean to some sort of no disqualification thing because of the outcome of the last match. Right. Maybe they make it a ladder match or a chairs match or something. That to go back to the history. a TLC match or something. I don't know.
Do not do a chairs match. I hate when WWE does chairs matches.
Do a Big Show's there. Sorry, Paul White's there. Do a stairs match. But do do something. I think they're leaning towards that sense of raising the stakes. I can see them maybe making it make it for the Impact and AEW title. If let's say Omega beats Andrade at Triple Mania, then they make it for the Impact titles as well, and then you go back into the belt collector. He's back up. That sort of negates everything that happened the past couple weeks, but then you can go right back into Page Omega. It's weird. I'm not totally on board with it. It is very nitpicky, but it is weird because you want to save those big time matches for other spots. But let's move forward down the card because we've talked enough about Christian and Kenny Omega because we got a bunch of other stuff to get to. AEW TNT title match. This is their television title. Miro versus Fuego del Sol. Miro destroys him in what I believe is a perfect match. 1 minute, 59 seconds. I love this, Scotty, so much. I thought this was great. I thought this was so good. I cannot tell you enough. I thought this was so good. Fuego comes out here right before the bell starts. He hits the Tornado DDT. Match begins. He hits the Tornado DDT twice more. Knocks Miro out of the ring. Miro we tease the 10 count, which was a great fake ending because commentary really built it up a little bit that Fuego can still get the contract, but he won't get the title. So I was like, oh, that's a great out that no one thought of. But Miro gets back in. He gets hit with another Tornado DDT, and then Miro just has enough of it. Catches Fuego on the fourth Tornado DDT. Bulgarian drop, Samoan drop, then just destroys him and just tears up the contract right after the match. I thought this match was perfect. This is a perfect squash Miro embodiment of Miro versus the hot fire babyface Fuego del Sol. I thought this match was so good.
To start off very, very quickly, I cannot stand that they're doing a 4-man booth for the show. It's just way too much.
Completely agree. I hate it.
That being said, this was the perfect plan for this match. I don't think there was any other way to do it. I have no idea why so many people love Fuego del Sol. I have yet to connect the dots.
Really? Are you one of those Sammy Vlog watchers or no?
Not even slightly.
That might be it. It's
not
all
even
because it's all because of the vlog.
Okay.
He's a Zack Ryder of himself.
Okay. That's why he's over. I never knew or understood why this guy was cheered at every building. That being said, this, like you said, this was perfect. Miro has took a complete 180 for me in terms of once he got rid of Kip Sabian and the stupid gaming thing, it became an easy way to like him because the Redeemer gimmick is fantastic. The God's favorite champion, fantastic. His promos have not missed, and
those horns, the entrance music he got too.
Yes, once they changed the music away from the best man shtick, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
My only complaint about Miro right now is that I just wish he had a actual feud. He hasn't had a legitimate feud since the Orange Cassidy one with Kip Sabian, and that's just me wanting him to have a feud going into the pay-per-view. And I know it's their television title for the most part, but he did defend it at the last pay-per-view in a rather brutal match with Lance Archer, which still makes me sad, but because I think they could have actually had a really good match if they changed up what they were doing there. But Miro is hitting on all cylinders, and there's not really any real complaints, and just keep having him smash these little people, because ultimately when you have that baby face, whoever it may be that beats him, it'll be awesome.
I agree. I think Miro's 180 into the Holy Redeemer is beautifully perfect. It cannot have been a more perfect gimmick for him, a perfect setup. Everything about it, the entrance, the promos, the wrestling gear, the move set, everything about it is perfect for him. I think maybe they're gonna head into a rivalry soon. At least I hope, as they start building up to All Out, because they can build something up. But it's obviously that in the past couple weeks he's been, taking out these sort of like lower guys, Lee Johnson, Fuegos. So it is the question of, can he be defeated by someone who is of bigger importance? That is.
I would do Guevara, by the way.
That's what I was getting to. Is I think based off the Fuego interaction, I think Sammy Guevara versus Miro would be a great TNT title match. It really teases the idea of Sammy winning it, if they don't go for it and keep. But that's the other thing, is that like Sammy should get a title at some point, but maybe that's the start of the feud, and then he'll get a title eventually, because Miro is really great with the title.
I definitely don't uncrown Miro anytime soon.
No, he's someone that you need to keep the title on.
Because the longer he holds the title too, the more meaningful it will be. I think we're just getting to this like perfect point where it becomes that meaningful because he's that dominant. But if you have whatever babyface they want to propel into the next like big spot, it'll work really well. I've seen people say Pac should beat him. Well, I love Pac, but I don't think he necessarily needs that rub. Like this is a chance to give someone a massive rub.
Yeah,
and like Pac's at the point where he doesn't need that. If they wanted to do maybe a Rey Fenix, he's I think people just love him because he's insane. This is funny. This would have been a Darby Allin spot, but Darby Allin's the one that lost the title. I was just thinking about that. Like this would have made a lot of sense then, instead of him beating Cody. But he did a lot for that title. We could do your favorite boy, Jungle Boy. He could take that rub. I think he'll probably get a match for it. I don't think he'll win it though.
It depends how the Dynamite tag team match goes.
Right. Which,
anyways, I think they could get the tag.
They could, but I need the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros in a real tag team match where the Lucha Bros are actually the baby faces.
Agreed.
Because I think it's going to be a lot better than what they did at Double or Nothing.
After the match, Sammy Guevara and Tony Khan comes out. First time appearance on Rampage, obviously, but first, I don't think he ever was on Dynamite, so that's the first time appearance for him.
Only when they cut backstage.
Yeah, and he's just
sitting
there
in his chair. Yeah.
But after the match, Sammy Guevara comes out and says that Fuego del Sol is now all elite. Finally, Fuego gets that contract. So congratulations, Fuego, on getting that contract. Really goes to show the difference between WWE and AEW. I'm just going to do a slight dig here. Just the difference on, like, I made a reference earlier. Zack Ryder gets over on the internet, and look how he's treated. Fuego del Sol gets over on the internet.
He won the United States Championship.
Oh, great. Yeah, and then what happened after that?
I mean, he got pushed off a stage by Kane, but they gave him that moment for like 5 seconds.
That's fair. Main event.
I don't think Fuego del Sol's winning the TNT title. So.
No, that's fair. I don't agree either. Main event, AEW Women's World Title match. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is the champion, heading into Britsburg against the challenger Red Velvet, with Britt Baker getting the win in 10 minutes and 35 seconds. I thought it was a very good match. Obviously, Britt Baker, the hometown hero here. Red Velvet playing the heel, and they still do things during the match that make it like Britt Baker's still the heel, but this is her hometown, so she's the face. Scotty, what do you think of the match?
I did not like the match.
Really?
I don't enjoy Britt Baker matches unless Thunder Rosa is involved.
Whoa.
I don't think I've liked a single Britt Baker match that doesn't have Thunder Rosa in it. Because I like all of the ones with Thunder Rosa off the top of my head. That being said, this got the job done. Like there was no doubt what the result here was, but having it in Pittsburgh, that was the whole point of having this main event, because otherwise, you probably consider having the title match where the title's changing hands main event. But it was nice to see the women in the main event. A good spot for Red Velvet, who is someone that has kind of come out of nowhere for AEW and really shown to be an awesome addition to their division. I'm looking forward to them doing Baker and Chris Statlander, but my favorite part of the entire match was the re-debutee. which of course was Jamie Hayter, who has been saved from NXT UK. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, so interesting, interesting. WWE gets Bea Priestley, and AEW gets Jamie Hayter. And as a Stardom fan, I'm in the conversations enough to know which one was preferred and which one was not. And the reason one of them wasn't preferred more than anything was her certain relationship with someone who has, his own little problems, of course. That being said, I think Jamie Hayter's a great addition. She is in the shape of her life.
Oh
I don't
my
know,
God, yeah. If
like,
you look any picture of Jamie Hayter on Instagram, it's just like shoulder city.
she's shredded,
Yeah.
and
There, she's so shredded that I'm sorry, but she's so shredded that like she thought she had Twitter thinking she was Becky Lynch, who is known for the shoulder boulders, known for the shredded body. Jamie Hayter is just the pandemic has done her wonders.
I like the pairing a lot with Britt. I don't know why. I just like it because I think it gives Jamie an instant like I'm gonna be on TV every week. Like that to me, that's the best part. Like Jamie Hayter's gonna get to do things, which is great because when's the last time we saw Hikaru Shida to be example? It was when she lost the title. She hasn't been on Dynamite since.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is very sad.
Jamie
Hayter's cool.
Also, last time when they were in Pittsburgh, Britt Baker faced Jamie Hayter in Pittsburgh.
It's a weird little thing there, huh?
Little history there. I thought that Britt Baker, I can concede that she's I don't know if you would agree with this. I would concede that she's a better character than wrestler. Mostly also just because her character is very strong. I thought this match was. I enjoyed this match. I thought Red Velvet held her own. Red Velvet, just a solid. I know this is not the best term, but just a solid good hand. You put her in that spot with the Shaq match.
That is what she is.
Put her in this match. She can just go and be fine and be perfectly good. I think there were some parts in this match that were kind of weird, but I think overall I thought it was a solid match. Crowd obviously helped it.
I watch a lot of women's wrestling, to be fair. Like there's a certain level you got to get to for me. And no offense,
I get that.
The crowd helped us a lot. I'll say that. Like the crowd played into this a lot because seeing Red Velvet be the heel for like the first time and the commentary trying to explain that was so funny to me.
Oh yeah, no, they were like, oh yeah, and this would happen.
That was like when Roman Reigns gets booed out of the building. WWE would be like, he's very polarizing, and I'm like, no, people fucking hate him.
But yeah, she gets booed out, and it's just really great. I thought the post-match attack angle / debut was weird just because it was a heel move that the crowd didn't know what to do for. Yeah. And then they were booing Chris, and then the Jamie thing confused people. It was a very confusing ending, but I thought overall, I'm very excited about. By the way, love Chris. Very excited about Jamie Hayter. I think she's a great talent. I'm so glad they were able to catch her before NXT UK devours her up. And I'm just so excited to see more women's wrestling on television, hopefully.
Here's the I tweeted this last week, and this wasn't even talking about Jamie Hayter. I had not even thought about her because everyone thought she was going to the UK like I did because, she lives there. It's just easy to get a contract. That's what Bea Priestley did pretty much.
I don't blame them whatsoever. If that's
no. That being said, the fact that they might be adding the likes of Jamie Hayter, Ruby Soho, and potentially Mercedes Martinez, because I think that has real potential to happen based off her appearances for the company previously. That is like the biggest 3 additions this women's division can have right now, and I think they all add something different. Jamie Hayter adds the young, hungry person that you can build up. Ruby Soho adds someone that you can put into the main event aspect of the women's division, and I think you're set. And that same goes for Mercedes, who
also their styles are different as well.
Yes,
and they also both Soho and Mercedes Martinez bring a veteran status, which is I think gravely needed.
Yes.
Serena Deeb's there, but also not there because she's also always injured apparently.
Yeah. Poor girl.
But before we get into more women's wrestling talk, before we do that, I want to talk about real quick the Countout Drive, which is happening as we speak. Basically, Countout is running a drive where they're trying to raise support from our listeners. So if you're a listener that wants to help support us, you can go over to countoutpod.com/membership. You can sign up, give a $5 monthly family membership. And what that does is you can put that $5 to any show. Let's say you put all those $5 to Ring Post Radio, then we'll get that support directly from you. Scotty's putting his hand up raised. He's very excited about the $5 in his bank account.
You want? Sorry. Continue. I'll let you finish. Then we're gonna talk about something.
Oh, I appreciate it. Obviously, the money will be split with however you can choose. You can put money in Ring Post. You can put money in any of the writers. You can put in money in any of the other podcasts. You can split up however you put the money to. But just know that support is going to go help out the podcasters and help us out directly. Obviously, we got to spend money on all of the wrestling we watch. Got to spend money on our equipment and just various other things that we need to do to sustain these shows, sustain our podcast. So if you like, again, that is countoutpod.com/membership. By signing up, you get exclusive access to audio that is just for you. Scotty, I did have one bit planned for this ad read. If you want to hear this bit.
I'm ready.
I'm going to see if I can text Jesse real quick to grab me something.
Oh, no.
What's that, Jesse?
Oh, wow.
Hey, can you grab the drink out of the fridge? Thank you.
Oh, no.
So one of the shows you can get, one of the exclusive audio, Scotty, is Fast Foodies, which is a really, it's honestly, Scotty, just great audio. It's so good. It's so good. Please sign up just to hear Fast Foodies. But it was me and Mikey, and we sat down and we, thank you so much, sweetie. I don't know why I called you sweetie. That was gross. That was gross. But Fast Foodies is Mikey and I. We paired Mountain Dew, different flavors of Mountain Dew with fast food, and Mikey and I discovered that the flavors do match the food very well. Like, you have no idea what goes great with Panera Bread's broccoli cheddar soup. But it's so good. It's so good, Scotty. But I do want to do a taste test for you as a little ad read.
No.
Right in front of me, you can see on camera.
Ugh, I can't believe you bought this.
I bought this. It was for the recording of the Fast Foodies, but didn't get it. But this is a little teaser for our audience, Scotty.
You got to explain to them what the flavor is.
Of course. This is Mountain Dew Cake Smash. This is Mountain Dew with, and it says on the bottle, the can here, with a rush of artificial cake flavor.
Huh.
It is 117% of your added sugars, your daily value of sugars, an entire can.
Just please drink it before I throw up.
This is, it's also like clear liquid. It is, Scotty, it is.
Have you already tried it?
I have not.
No.
This is the first time ever. This was an exclusive drink made for Mountain Dew's anniversary, for their birthday, as it were. Supposed to come out last year. Obviously, pandemic halted that.
I guess they hate people.
This is limited release. This is like one of, they released, I think, like 2,000 cans, and then they had it on sale for like a day, but it sold out in like 30 minutes. So I don't know how many cans they had to go for. But Mountain Dew Cake Smash, I should say. How excited are you to see how this goes?
I'm gonna throw up. Just drink it. No, don't lie.
Oh,
it's
I don't.
Terrible. You're drinking cake.
I am drinking cake. I do taste cake flavor. It feels more icing than cake. It's so weird. It's so weird to describe. Mountain Dew Cake Smash. I'm gonna have to go for the second taste. It's so weird to describe, Scotty. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not great. But yes, Fast Foodies is one of the shows you can get. You get access to a bunch of other stuff.
Check it out.
Check it out. $5 family membership. Again, countoutpod.com/membership.
All right, so
You had some news to break or something to break to us. That is a picture of John Cena's Instagram with the picture of CM Punk blowing the kiss over the barricade, both referencing the future and his past of last night.
I freaking love everything about John Cena. Because that man knows who his greatest rival of all time is. And that man refuses to let his WWE legacy die at the hands of Vince McMahon. And I appreciate it. That being said, we can talk about whatever's next.
Perfect. That was hilarious. I can't believe he's doing this stuff. He's a great troll. I also, can I just say about John Cena real quick? In his prime,
Underappreciated.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say underappreciated. I think he's solid appreciated. But I think he's never gonna do it, obviously, because he's all about hustle, loyalty, and respect, and loyalty is one of those words. But John Cena, legitimately, and I really believe this, would be outstanding in All Elite Wrestling. I think his personality would just fits the mold of AEW perfectly. I just think he's so good for it. I just wish he could be in it, but alas, he'll never be in it. Scotty, you had a question. You raised your hand. You had a question.
I die on the hill that John Cena, out of maybe any top star, could fit in any era. Better than because Stone Cold Steve Austin could not fit in the current era. No. Hulk Hogan,
maybe if the Becky Lynch, but
maybe, but like this is the work rate era. Hulk Hogan can't hang. The Rock, maybe, because The Rock is just so charismatic, and his, he can do things that few others can do. And that's not a shot at Stone Cold, but Stone Cold's whole character was he was flipping off the boss and stuff. Like, he's not doing that now. Now he's, doing what John Cena does of the okay sign. Like,
there's not much of a blue collar presence in wrestling.
Right.
It feels like,
right.
Maybe there is, but it's more like teenagers, like Hangman Adam Page is doing.
But John Cena, yeah, he could hang anywhere. If he was in AEW, that'd be insane. That'll never happen. As we like to say, WWE for life instead of like Bullet Club for life. Yeah, nice. You get it. Ha ha ha. All right, let's continue on.
Continuing down the board, let's talk 5-star Grand Prix
finally,
out of Stardom.
Something good. Oh, let's go. Something good that I talk about weekly anyways. But
yes.
Let's go.
Yes, you can listen to Scotty talk about this all more on Fight Game Media's 5-star Joshi podcast. Really butcher that plug there.
Yeah, but I got a cheap pop in there, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cheap plug.
I got these,
and I didn't even do it.
I got the standings in front of me. I got them up to day 4.
Are they the ones that I did?
I don't believe so. I did these myself, so I don't believe so.
I have an entire document that I shared of
I didn't see that.
Everything, including this past weekend, which is just Friday because they had to cancel the Saturday and Sunday shows, and made me sad.
You stole my. That would have saved me so much time. Well, let's talk about that first because you referenced it. Stardom, due to what appears to be a COVID outbreak.
Close contact.
Thank you. Close contact with the coronavirus infection. This is out of the @WeAreStardom Twitter account. It was determined that several athletes were close contact with the coronavirus infection. So, considering the safety of fans, athletes, and related parties, our August 14th, 15th shows have been canceled. Obviously, this also comes off the news of the ring announcer getting COVID.
They're all vaccinated, so this definitely sounds more like a move to protect fans than anything else, which is really good on them. I can appreciate that. And they have this schedule so expanded that the matches that are canceled from these 2 days, they can just put on different cards and it'll be very easy. So that's a good thing about that.
I completely agree. You never want these sort of things to happen, but obviously they got spread out cards. They have precautions in place. This is one of the precautions. You have news about the ring announcer that also lets know the fans that were there on Friday to be like, hey, maybe get tested or something.
Right.
If they're not vaccinated.
It's very smart.
It's
They
also
sold out.
with also the vaccine. You don't want to take those things for granted.
Not to toot the own horn of Stardom here, but they sold out Cork and Hall the other day, which was pretty huge. Selling out Cork and Hall, whether it be pandemic or not, is always really cool, and they were able to do that. And I don't know how many promotions, if any, have done that over the past year. Maybe New Japan, like once or twice, but they run it so much that people don't always feel the need to go because they don't necessarily treat Cork and Hall like it's as big as Cork and Hall usually is anymore, which is fine. I think that's a take for another day, but Cork and Hall is always a cool venue as well.
Well, let's talk about the
stats,
the Stardom standings. I just felt that instead of going match by match, because obviously that'll take us all night, and I'm sure you can hear more about that with Scotty over on Fight Game Media's podcast there. But I just want to go quickly through it and sort of grade each performer and give a grade on their overall thoughts, their overall standings right now, and just their matches in general. If that sounds okay with you.
Yep.
I'm getting burpee from the Mountain Dew Cake Smash. It's real gross.
So you have it updated to day 4 only?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So you're missing 2 days. Just put that out there for people that are listening. There's 2 days missing.
What's did they able to do day 6? I thought day 6 was
day 6 was Cork. Day 6 was Cork, and day 5 was last weekend. So yeah, they were able to get to day 6.
Have you watched? I've only watched up to day 4. Have you watched day 5 or day 6 yet?
I've watched day 5. Day 6 is just being uploaded because it happened Friday.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, then up to day 4, we got. I'm just gonna go through the leaderboard in a way.
Wild.
We can sort of start. Let's go top to the bottom, I guess. As of day 4, leaderboard was leading off the pack. Mina Shirakawa at the top of the leaderboard of 4 points.
God.
What do you think? Okay. Greater performance?
Not great. I mean, she's not very good at the wrestling. And she never she's really good in tag team matches, but that's because she doesn't have to carry the load. Her first 2 matches are with Fukijin Death and Saki Kashima. The second one was better than the first one with Kashima, but yeah, not great. The fact that she was even leading at this point, I know because they're doing the matches so weird, it's just absolutely disturbing.
There's something about her that I really enjoy, and I don't know what it is.
You're not the only one, to be fair. A lot of people love her.
Yeah, I think she's someone that is definitely personality. It's personality is what's driving the same thing. I can see her.
The Cosmic Angels for you.
That's fair. I can see her being a better tag team wrestler for sure. But for me, I think she's been solid. If I were to grade her, B- maybe. I don't know. I think she's been fairly fine for me.
Are you asking me to give a grade?
Yes, I am asking you to give a grade.
C-.
Ooh, man, not a Mina fan.
Which is legitimately generous for me.
That's fair. Moving down the line, we got Natsupoi with 2 points. 3 points, where she got a win over Momo Watanabe, lost to Kaguma, and got a double count out with Starlight Kid. What was that?
Kaguma.
Yeah, I apologize.
It's fine.
I am not up to date on the pronunciation.
Listen.
Kaguma.
On my first ever time I talked about Stardom on my podcast, I called Azumi AZM. So
that's fair. I mean, I get you.
Yeah, it's fine. You just need people to help you out because you don't necessarily hear it all the time.
Exactly. It's that thing of when you're reading something versus hearing it for the first time. It's you pronounce it because this is what it says, right?
No. Well, it's funny because there's a video of Azumi yelling at people. You say it Azumi.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny part. Natsupoi is one of Stardom's most consistent wrestlers this year, and I'm never not entertained by her matches. And I think her first 2, seeing that she just came back from injury, first three are, really fun. They're lots of fun. If you like high speed wrestling, then you definitely like Natsupoi matches, which I do enjoy. Her gear that she wears, she has two like gear for those that don't know that are listening to this, that maybe you're friends with Ryan and you have no idea what Stardom is.
Hey,
Her
whoa, hey, yo.
I didn't mean that
Hey,
in a
yo,
derogatory
I'm
way.
over here trying to enjoy my cake smash, and you're taking shots at me.
Yeah, this is true. Her two gears are inspired by Kairi Sane and Io Shirai. So that's always a little cool tidbit. But I've loved all three of her matches. Who did she wrestle on night one?
Night one, I believe it was. I believe it was against Momo. I can look that up for
No,
you.
Momo's night two.
Oh, then Kaguma. Was it Kagumi?
Yes. And I like
Kagome.
Kaguma.
Kaguma.
I like all
God,
three so
I'm never
far.
gonna get this right.
People can have their opinions on the draw because draws are always very debatable, but I enjoyed that because it was more of a teaser for their high speed title match, but the match with Momo was really good.
Yeah, I thought Natsupoi so far has been doing a great job. I think you're very right in that she's very consistent. I think high speed style is it's like, for me, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but it is that very much that, like, WCW having the luchadors come on, like having that fast paced action is able to bring in people, because it's like, whoa, they're flipping all over the place. Like, Natsupoi's moveset is very cool to watch. There's all the cartwheels and spinning that she does.
Yeah, the backlash is awesome.
It's just, she has very great moveset that can really do a great job. I think, I would say her so far, I would say maybe A-. I think she's just been really great so far.
Yeah, I was gonna go A- too. She's, no one's gonna be perfect. Well, that's not true, but she's just so fun to watch, and really, that's all I look for in my wrestling is, fun wrestlers that never fail to give me something good to watch. But I will let you continue rolling on here.
Starlight Kid also up with 3 points as of day 4, getting that draw against Natsupoi as we reference, getting a win over Kashima, and losing to Julia.
I love Starlight Kid. She's such a jerk.
I love the heel turn, quote unquote heel turn from Starlight Kid.
She's doing it really well.
Yeah.
Her match with Julia could have been better, because they had a match earlier this year that was phenomenal. One of my favorite matches of the entire year, actually. But that being said, she's still getting the heel gimmick underway for her in-ring style, and I think she's getting there as time goes on. For example, the best way to see her heel gimmick getting into full swing is probably the Tam Nakano title match from last month, because I thought they did really good in she tried to break down Tam's back, which I like when you can break down things and it comes into play. The Natsupoi match, like I just said, that was fun, good teaser. Julia match was good, and the Saki Kashima was funny because Oedo Tai versus Oedo Tai, they hate each other, so that was good.
I think Starlight Kid, I really enjoyed the heel turn. I think one of these like tournament round robin types, and you see it a lot with like New Japan as well. Having someone turn heel and then go into these round robin tournaments is a great way to see the person not only discover more about the character, but find a quick way for them to come out on the other end with a lot of experience in it. Because obviously the only way to figure that out is by doing it in the ring. I think Starlight Kid's been great. I agree that the Julia match could have been better. We already talked about Natsupoi, and I think she's been great. I mean, I would give her a solid B maybe. I think she's been pretty good. I don't think she's in the top tier of this block, but I think she's been pretty good.
I would go with B- because she has 3 matches I think that could be really intriguing, that probably elevate her a lot, which will be with Momo, the Mayu match, which is the final day, and I think that could be one of the best matches of the tournament. And for some reason, I feel like her and Himeka could work really well, because having a tall baby face against a small heel will be a weird dynamic that I anticipate watching. But we can move on. So because if I keep rumbling on about these people, we're going to be here for hours.
Speaking of Momo Watanabe, she is next up, but obviously we've got some interesting news about Momo, where she is announced from Stardom that she is going to miss 3 shows as a result of an undisclosed injury. Of course, I believe one of those shows got canceled outright because of the COVID issues there. I believe so. The belief is that it's an undisclosed injury. Or sorry, 2 of the shows got canceled, so she's not missing too much, I guess. The belief is that it's a minor injury, since she was only going to miss like a week's worth of action. So hopefully we'll see her back soon next weekend. But Momo Watanabe, 2 points, got a win over Mayu Iwatani and a loss to Natsupoi.
She's literally put together by tape right now.
Yeah.
Like her back is all taped up. So like when they called her out for the weekend, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Her match that was canceled and moved, has already been rescheduled. So that wasn't a big deal 5-star wise. Mm-hmm. Momo, if you follow me on Twitter, is probably my favorite wrestler right now. It's either her or Mayu. I don't know. The list goes on and on. I can't really define anything. That being said, I love her match with Mayu so much in this tournament. Right now, it's my match of the tournament. These 2 are the most consistent, the 2 best in-ring performers Stardom has. 2 of the best in the world. And I also really liked her match with Natsupoi because I'm always here for tournament upsets, and I thought that was a really good one as well.
Yes, a very solid upset from Natsupoi. I was kind of light on the Iwatani match. I'm just sort of now light on Momo. I've seen some stuff in the past from her, and I really enjoyed her work. But I think maybe it's because she's held together by tape, and she's a little more worn down since then. I think...
we're canceling the podcast.
Okay, that's fair. See you, everybody. I'm playing outro music. There's something I still like her, but it's obvious that between her slowing down injury wise, between I don't know how you feel about this, but my theory of Bushiroad coming in and then she kind of gets de-elevated in a sense. I think between all those things take into account to me as a newer viewer being like, okay, maybe she is as important as she was a couple years ago, which is kind of frustrating because I liked her a couple years ago. So I don't know. That's how I feel about Momo. I like her, but I wish there was more to it. It's just sort of frustrating to watch.
This is like an attack on me at the same time, which is unacceptable. A-.
I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B on Momo.
That's fine.
It's a B.
Wrong.
A B that I don't want to give. Understand, Scotty, that this is
all right.
Something I don't want to do.
This, let's just cancel Ryan.
No, no. Sign up to be a member. Next up, Mayu Iwatani. Speaking of her as well, she has 2 points as well. A win over Julia and a loss to Watanabe.
A+. It's Mayu. I don't need to explain much more. I loved both of her I just literally said I loved her match with Momo, and I loved her match with Julia because she went through absolute hell and back in that one. She doesn't care that she has a neck, which is a risky business to be in. And it showed in that match. And the headbutts, I don't know if you listened to these matches with sound. If you did, you need to go back and listen to them with sound, because there were 2 loud thuds on the headbutts that made me want to throw up. That being said, fantastic. Mayu's just world class. And anyone that doesn't recognize Mayu as one of the best in the world can go fuck themselves.
I think fair enough, I guess. I think Mayu and Julia was my match of this block. I really enjoyed the 2 of them. I think their chemistry and their ability to go against each other is very solid. Mayu doesn't have a neck. She's the Ibushi practically of Stardom. I realized the other day that I was like, I wonder maybe that's why she has the hood, so that it covers all the tape on her neck. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, I guess. But I think she's just a solid wrestler. I think just as years gone by, she's just gotten better and better with age. She's like a fine wine, if you will. Mayu
It's
Iwatani.
yeah, she's great.
She's just great. I would say maybe A minus just because of the Momo match I was a little down on, but I think she's been I expect big things throughout the rest of the tournament. She's probably not my pick to win, but I think she's just gonna be a solid hand throughout this entire tournament.
Don't ever call Mayu a solid hand again.
Fair enough.
How dare you? How dare you? All right, let's finish the block.
Saki Kashima, 2 points, beat Julia, lost to Shirakawa and Starlight Kid.
I got yelled at on Twitter yesterday for saying I wasn't that big of a fan of Saki Kashima, so I'm going to keep my opinions on Saki Kashima quiet. But she was an absolute menace, and I think that's just the funny part about her. Her beating Julia was like the layup of upsets in the tournament because of like the way they've been booking over the past couple of months with those two, really the past month. But she's a menace. That's what I'll give her. Like she just makes you laugh the way she wrestles sometimes because she hates everyone that she's wrestling, even if they're on her own team. So that's very funny. And the revival's great because it has like 100% winning percentage almost. I like anything that's like a roll-up pin that people just somehow can't get out of. That goes for all wrestling, and that was where I'm at with her.
Dragon Geek does that really well with roll-up pins as well. I like it. Her defeating Julia as an upset victory is like one of those one of those wins where it's like you scratch your beard looking at Julia's block and you're like, oh, interesting. This might be the reason she doesn't win. This might be something. There's something that comes down to because of this loss, and then Julia will get the win back after the tournament. That was a nice little surprise getting the win over Julia. Don't worry about those opinions. This is a safe space, Ring Post Radio. So, like we said last week, all opinions are valid here.
I've gotten used to people coming from my throat now, so I don't really care.
That's fair. Grade, Kashima.
I'll give her a B.
I'll agree. I'll say B as well.
She's fun.
Julia, 2 points as well, getting a win over Starlight Kid and losing, like we said, to Kashima and Iwatani.
I love Julia. Like, I have been on that train since the moment I started watching Stardom, watching her work. A lot of people Julia, more than probably anyone in Stardom, has this very 50-50 fan base when it comes to Westerners. Like, either they love her or they can't stand her. I'm one of those that love her. I think she puts together some really good matches. She is one of the if we're calling Utami Hayashishita the top star right now, then Julia is clearly number 2. Like we have said, the match with Mayu was really good. The upset with Saki was good, and her match with Starlight Kid, while it could have been better, was a good start to the tournament for her either way. And she brought back her old gear, mixing it with the G.I. Joe gear. So that is always welcome because she looks like an absolute boss.
Yeah, that return of the gear is definitely what feels like we're returning back to form of Julia, if that makes sense. Like the hair is growing back, the gear is back. We're going to return back to pre-head shaven Julia. So it looks like we're finally get there, and maybe this is like what the Grand Prix is for her, is that resurgence back into it. Maybe that's the thing, is that maybe she's able to win the whole thing, and she's the one that can challenges Utami after this whole tournament. But yeah, we've already kind of talked about the matches themselves. So I would say A minus on Julia.
A minus is a good spot.
I think there's more from her but I think we're just about to see more from her at the farther the line we get.
Well, her and Momo are legitimately going to murder each other on the last day. Like, that's I don't know if you saw the tweet, but Momo literally was like, "I'm going to kill you." Like the last day, and I was like, yeah, like if these two are somehow still in one piece by then, I'm very worried for their bodies then, because they are gonna kill each other. But yeah, it's good stuff, and I think there's only 2 people left, and one of them hasn't wrestled, so there's really one person left.
Kaguma.
Kaguma.
Kaguma is left, 2 points, getting the win over Natsupoi. We kind of already talked about the match. Any other additional thoughts on Kagama or in the grade there for
Nah,
her?
she gets a B only because she's had one match, and like I can't give much of an opinion yet. I know she had a match with Julia on the Cork and Hall show that main evented, which sounds like was really good. So I don't know who won off the top of my head. So that should be fun. But yeah, she's fine. She was a good addition to the roster.
Yeah, I'd say B minus for her just
Yeah,
because it's one match. You can't really tell for anything. Also, it's a match against Natsupoi, so I think Natsupoi kind of helped her a little bit there,
yeah,
in
go
my
Poi.
opinion. So we'll see. Himika hasn't wrestled yet, so we don't know anything from her. And then Fukigen Death, 0 points. She lost to Mina Shirakawa. Fukigen Death,
She's not supposed to be in the tournament, so anything she does like is a absolute effort. For those who don't know who Fukijin Death is, it's actually Kaori Oniyama, which she is very good at wrestling. Like you might see the clown and assume a lot of things, but she's actually very good at wrestling. She's in this tournament because of the Natsuko Tora injury.
yes.
So anything she does, you just appreciate her being able to fill in these spots. But yeah, she's there.
Yeah, I don't expect her getting any points. I think
No,
she's playing that role there, which the pin
Mina
there.
was her chance.
Yeah, I can probably agree that she could get an upset.
I can see a roll up kid.
Yeah, I can see a roll up as well. We'll see what happens with her. I think she's been fine. Of the one match, I would say C probably. Just like fine, just a solid opener, I guess.
I'm giving a C minus, but that's not being mean. It's just like whatever.
Yeah. Okay, going into the next block here, or we're gonna speed up a little bit as well here.
Yes.
Starting off the block on day 4, we had Micah. Oh my God, you pronounce her name, please.
Micah.
Micah. I thought it was completely right, but then I thought I was wrong, and then I thought I was right, and then I don't know anymore. I'm all confused.
Happens.
Micah starting at the leaderboard for day 4. I think she has 4 points, a win over Ruaka, and Haya Shishida, Utami there, and a loss over Siri. So Micah, thoughts on her?
Micah's been great so far.
Yeah.
She's showing that she is going to be a future World of Stardom, a Wonder of Stardom champion. She only continues to improve every outing. This year has been a very big year for her in terms of improving. She's been able to deliver in the biggest of matches. And I thought the upset over Hayashishida was very good.
I agree. Do you think she wins the tournament?
No, I don't think she wins the tournament. I could see her represent her block, though, if Julia is to be winning the tournament, because they don't always put the biggest name of the block in the finals.
Yeah.
So she's definitely a good choice for that if they want to do that.
You gotta give someone the rub of being in the finals.
Right.
And also it doesn't matter if she wins because she has
Hameko was in the finals last year.
fair enough. It also doesn't matter if she wins just because she got the win over the champion, the top champion. So that is always going to be a great thing for her. So she'll have a title challenge right after this.
Yeah.
Assumingly. Speaking of grades, I think A. I think solid A. I think she's been great.
A. She's hit it out of the park. Oh, her match with Sherry was fantastic.
Oh, I love that. That's my match at the tournament, right? That's right there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because I've watched so much Stardom, like that is easily top 3 for me, if not 1 or 2, because I just think it's fantastic and brutal and in all the best ways.
Speaking of champion, Utami also has 4 points, getting a win over Kamatani and Sayaka.
Unagi Sayaka,
and losing to Micah.
Just call her Unagi, makes your life easier.
That's fair. Unagi. She gets a win over Unagi and Kamatani. Utami has also been doing great. I think as like the champion, you're never going to expect the champion to win these sort of tournaments, but she's able to put on great main events, put on great matches against people. And I think she's been doing a solid job of that. I've really enjoyed her matches here.
People have been willing to call her the ace now, which I am not. That being said, because I don't think you take the ace role from Mayu until Mayu's gone. That's just Mayu's role forever. But she's just, she's had a phenomenal year from beginning to end, and this tournament's just another showing that she's got everything you need from your champion in a tournament. And the upset of Maiku was a good start. Her match with Saya was really good, and her match with Unagi happened.
I thought she's great. I'll give her an A
B plus.
as well. I'll go A. I'll go A.
Unagi match soured me.
That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of Unagi, she's next up. She also has 4 points with win over Nakano and Azumi, and lost to the champion Hayashi Shida. Thoughts on Unagi? Her performance so far?
I defend Unagi more than a lot of people. That being said, I have not loved her matches necessarily. I haven't hated the first two. Mm-hmm. I thought the one with Azumi was fine. The one with Tam was interesting because of like pure domination. She hit her finisher, she won. Like there was no like part of her having legitimate offense until she hit her finisher. Mm-hmm. This is a good tournament for her though to establish that finisher. I think establishing a brand new finisher is always important. It's kind of like the Made in Japan of Shingo Takagi, for those who may not know. A little different, of course, but Unagi's getting better and better. She's going to be one of the top champions someday, so just accept that, people. I'm going to give her a nice little B.
I would agree with that B there. I think she's very doing a solid job. I didn't know about the new finisher, but same sort of thing, but we were kind of talking about with Starlight Kid. These sort of tournaments are a great way to help establish those sort of things for the future eventually. I think she's solid. Again, for some reason, I like Mina more than Unagi, and I don't know what it is.
You're one of them.
Appears I might be one of them.
There's a lot of them, so it's not like it's not a thing against you. I can see it.
But Mina's also, in Stardom world, she's also up there in years, so it's not like she's going to be, around.
She's never going to win the title.
No, she's. This is just the end of her career, probably.
How old do you think Unagi is?
20 something.
31.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Unagi can win a title somewhere.
She's going to get a title before she wraps it up, but she's only been in wrestling for 3 years, so not even.
She also beat, of course, Tam Nakano. Do you think she wins that title there?
Not a chance. But it'll be a big spot for her when they give her the title match. It'll be a really big spot for her. I'm a little worried, but, faction mates usually can make a good match out of anything. So
I agree. Siri, next up, she also has 4 points. Got a win over Micah. I agree. A+ effort here. Micah and Kamatani wins. Azumi, she lost to. All of these matches have been great. I think Shuri has been the MVP of this tournament so far.
Out of her mind right now.
Yeah.
Like, she is wrestling out of her mind. Everything feels important, and that's all I ask.
Yeah.
She's definitely the MVP so far. Like, she's had 3 matches, and they've all been awesome. Her next match was supposed to be against Unagi, which would have been absolute murder, which just is exciting. But her, the upset against Azumi, fantastic. Mm-hmm. The match with Micah where she decided, death to Micah, fantastic. And the opening night match with Kamatani where she also decided death to Kamatani was fantastic. So, yeah, I can't sing the praises enough of Shuri. If you ever want to hear about the story of Shuri, you could always go on voicesofwrestling.com and look at my article about her that I posted this week. Just saying.
There we go. I think Shuri has been great. I keep doing the comparisons because it helps me as someone that is a New Japan person going into the Stardom universe. Mm-hmm. Crossing over to the Bushi Forbidden Door.
You're not the only one. Don't call her Ishii. That's all I'm saying.
Why not? Why not call her Ishii?
Because I don't love Ishii.
Well, I'm just going to use that comparison in the sense that Ishii is typically the MVPs of the G1 Climax tournament. Typically, historically, critically speaking, has very great matches. I can see Shuri. Obviously,
She'll probably
I think
win a title though, unlike him.
That's probably also true. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can see Shuri also just being a solid gatekeeper like Ishii has been. But we'll see what happens. I think she's obviously going to get the win over against Utami eventually down the line, so we can build up that challenge. I don't think she's going to win the tournament, but I think she's just doing God's work right now.
Yeah.
So A plus. She's my favorite of the tournament so far.
Understandable. All right, let's we'll speed through the last couple.
Nakano, 4 points, got a win over Uraka and Konami, and lost to Sayaka and Kamitani.
Big time B energy. Like, definitely a B because
yeah, I agree.
I know
I'm
Tam
B-
can do better.
Maybe. B minus.
Here's the problem with Tam. I know she can do better. And the fact that she hasn't in some of these matches, like, makes me a little mad. But it happens. Like, you want to... She is best at protecting herself, like, in terms of not going all out and getting her body destroyed, probably more than anyone on the roster. So that's why, like, I respect what she's doing and not having these, all-out wars every outing, because you just don't need to do that. But, yeah, you could say B minus. I'm going to go with B. It's fine.
Saya Kamitani, first person on the block here on day 4 of 2 points. Got the win over Nakano and lost to Hayashi Shida and Shuri.
Saya's such a star because she does things that no one else on the Stardom roster can do, in terms of, the high flying and whatnot. I've really liked her tournament so far. I'm going to go with B plus, nothing crazy, but I can understand anyone that doesn't love her stuff either. But I thought her match with Tam was very good. Her match with Utami and Shuri were also good, especially Shuri.
I feel she's a solid B wrestler here.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's a person that, like, she's just going to put in, like, solid effort performances all across the board. And, she's also getting the push right now. So I think that's right. Or at least getting a little bit of a push. She's one of the participants in the New Japan just announced for the Wrestle Grand Slam as well. They're going to have dark matches from Stardom. Based on the graphic and the announcement, I don't know what those matches will consist of. It looks like they might be either a tag match or 2 separate single matches.
It'll have Julia. I can put my money on that.
The members are Julia, Mayu Iwatani, Utami Hayashishida, and Saya.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm very happy that they're putting those matches on the New Japan card. My only problem is that they don't air.
Yeah, they're just consistently dark matches.
Because they're not allowed to air. Yeah. So.
I'm sure they'll be good. Azumi next up, 2 points with the win over Shuri and the loss to Sayaka.
Azumi's so good at making you believe she can win any match despite not being at the top of the card right now. Her match with Shuri was great. I really loved that match. The Unagi one wasn't ideal, and it was fine. That's actually what I think might be Unagi's best match of the tournament. And has she wrestled 3 times, you said?
Only twice as of day 4.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. Really like the Shuri match. The Unagi one's fine. I'm gonna give a B plus.
Yeah, I think she's been fairly fine. I think she, to do the comparison to Natsupoi, I think she's been a little bit below Natsupoi so far, just because of that high speed similarities there. I think she puts in good effort. I think she's one of those people that she can raise lower people, but she can't necessarily raise anyone higher above her, if that makes sense. Like, it's really...
because she's so people that don't know, she's still 18 years old. She's just been around forever. If I had a choice, 2-3 years down the line, she would be the future ace of Stardom because I think she can be that good. But I understand where you're coming from. Like, she doesn't put anyone above her level, and I think that's more so of the case that her biggest matches for the most part have mostly been for the high speed title. So when we get down the line of her getting into the bigger title matches, I think she'll be able to do that.
Yeah, she's been wrestling for 7 years since 2014, and she's 18.
Yeah, absolutely absurd.
Next up, someone who hasn't wrestled yet, Takumi Ohura. I know that's your...
Aroha.
Or what was it again?
Aroha.
Aloha. Hasn't wrestled yet. I'm sure you are just waiting for the day for her to appear in the block.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be tremendous.
Pants down affair.
She's probably going to be the only person that could steal the MVP from Siri when it's all said and done. She's also wrestling Shiri on the last day of the tournament, meaning those two very well could be fighting to be in the finals.
That's true.
Which is exciting as well.
That's very true. And then Konami, 0 points, a loss to Nakano.
Oh, very upsetting. Konami's going to get a C. TAM match could have been a lot better, and I don't think that's a lot to blame on her. I think we got to a point in that match where Tam just kind of was like, all right, let's end this. Konami is a very polarizing wrestler for Stardom because some people absolutely love her style, some people hate it. I think she can be really good. I think she has shown she can be really good. She's been in the 5-star finals before. Like, people don't remember that. She went to the finals in the Cinderella and 5-star before. But C, I have to give her a C because her one match wasn't fantastic by any means.
Konami falls in that Momo section for me, where it's someone that I really enjoyed. I really like watching the snippets of matches I saw a couple years ago, but now it's like, figuring things out. And I think, to be fair to Konami, she's the past couple of years have not been great, so she's got to figure things out in a whole new direction, heel turn and whatnot. I don't think her style works as a heel. I think it works better as a face for some reason. I don't know. That might just be me. But I think like Starlight is taking the heel turn more than Konami better, at least in my opinion. And I'm not hot on Konami right now.
Yeah,
so I'll say C as well.
You're not the only one. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say C as well. I hopefully we'll see more better things from her. It is the disappointing match that was the TAM match, so we'll maybe see where that can go. And that question will be, of course, obviously the theory right now is that's all in TAM, but we'll see if that Konami played a part in that as well with future matches. Mm-hmm. And then Ruaka, 0 points, lost to Maika and Nakano as well.
Good for Ruaka being in the tournament. That's all I'm going to say. Like, she's not going to have these 5-star, 4-star classics. She is there to take pins, but this is her first ever tournament. She's still very young, but she definitely has potential. That's what you take away from these things when they give these younger wrestlers big spots. She'll fit a good role down the line for them. But yeah, nothing special, of course.
Ruaka wrestling for 4 years at the age of 16 currently. Yeah, I agree. She is that sort of spot where she's just going to be the pin eater for a little bit. And I think that's perfectly fine for her. That's what it's really about for her is learning more wrestling, getting more experience underneath her belt. And I think with this block, she's going to get a lot of that.
Oh yeah. She's going to, like, when you look at her, because she's not wrestling herself, this is an absolutely like insane gauntlet of matches you have to go through. But yeah, she's going to get a lot of experience. I'm not going to go very high. Like, I'll give it a C because she's doing her job. Like, it's not like she's still in the show or anything, but she's doing her job.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B-. I think she's been perfectly fine. I think she's like you said, she's perfectly fine in the sense that she's doing her job. She's going out there having solid matches that are just part of the card that are there, and it's perfectly okay for what she's doing. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing.
That was a fun breakdown. Now we have to talk about WWE. Oh boy.
You said that with such despair in your heart.
Well, it's funny because we're previewing 2 shows that I'm actually excited for. As someone that has to cover WWE on a week-to-week basis, these are the things that, I'm like, oh, thank God I have something to look forward to. Because without these 2 things, oof, but this could also be like the last takeover ever, so let's all cry together.
This is all fair concern, I think. Coming up...
Great card, though.
Coming up on August 22nd on Sunday, In a weird
it's flipped.
thing, it's been flipped around, and we're gonna flip it back around to what it should be. But nonetheless, NXT Takeover is happening August 22nd out of the Capitol Wrestling Center. Of course, we got 5 matches already announced. We have another Wednesday of NXT. So who knows? Excuse me. What I'm getting still very burpy.
They lost the Wednesday Night Wars.
I still live in the world where they never lost. And I'm of Triple H. We're in the world that they never lost the Wednesday Night Wars, and they're still winning, still kicking ass.
It's so stupid that they try to compete against them because, I'm not going to go into this.
It's a whole diatribe.
We could go into the death of NXT too, but we're not going to do that either. We're just going to talk about NXT in its current form and act like nothing else is happening, and they don't have the walls crumbling around them.
I do have on note here that says "End of NXT UK," so maybe we'll talk about that a little. We'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get.
Have they announced Swerve and Escobar yet? Because I just say put that on the docket because that's happening. Which could be fun.
Let me look up to see because I believe
Swerve burned a lucha mask. That's like a crime in Mexico. That is a rivalry.
I'm gonna look it up because I might, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is on the card for the next. Oh no, it's not. No, it is not yet on the card for NXT Takeover 36. There's already 5 matches. Titles. There's already 5 matches, so they probably won't going to add another one. They might.
I would put a decent amount of change. They add that.
They put the tag title match and the cruiserweight title match on TV. Maybe
those
they
could be really good.
I agree. They could put the Swerve match, Escobar
why don't we
paper.
preview those as part of this little NXT Takeover talk because I feel like those both are worthy of Takeover, especially the Cruiserweight title. I just want to talk about that real quick. Kushida versus Roderick Strong is like the ultimate puro indie fan's dream. Yeah. Like that is insane, and I think those two are gonna have a really good TV match, maybe one of the best NXT's had all year. If they give in 15 minutes, and this wouldn't be the first time that cruiserweights main evented NXT, and they'll probably have a show closing angle with Joe and Cross, but they could definitely have the last match on the card and probably have a great showing.
Yeah, I think Kushida versus Roderick Strong is going to be a great match. If you look anything like the last takeover with Kushida versus Gargano, I think it's going to be a very similar match in the sense that Kushida is going to step up his game for this kind of person, and Roderick Strong in this new gimmick, very hard hitting. I think we're going to get a very strong style-esque match for the Cruiserweight title.
That was punny.
Very, very, very funny. NXT Tag Team title match on NXT TV on 8/17. It's going to be MSK, Nash Carter, and Wes Lee defending their titles against Imperium, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Barthel. Marcel Barthel.
I just say Marcel Barthel because I'll mess up the Thel every single time. This should be really good because I feel like MSK continuously proves to be one of like those really good NXT things of the past since signing. Their match was like, say, example, Ciampa and not Dunn.
Thatcher.
Well, that would be a great team. Ciampa and Thatcher was really good, and I think Ciampa and Thatcher are having a great year themselves. But and I feel like the two Imperium guys are often disrespected at times. I feel like because they're not like the pretty name of like an indie team. They're put together really. I think they can have a really good match here.
I agree. I think Imperium, MSK, and Ciampa and Thatcher have been the division, have been the three guys all circling the top of the division.
Yeah.
I think we're going to expect a very solid match between these two. I am slightly concerned for MSK's chances simply because the last event, I believe last TakeOver, was held in front of a crowd where they were being booed and whatnot.
I don't understand that.
I'm concerned that they might change their minds because if they're going to put the titles on somebody, Imperium's not a bad bet. Then you can move it into a triple threat with Thatcher and Ciampa in there as well, and that could be another takeover match.
Weird. It's just so I don't know how you boo them. They're very entertaining. Like everything they do is so fun.
I don't know. I think
weird.
I think they're solid. I think they've been doing great work in NXT as opposed to the previous indie work. Their indie work was very solid, but I think they've stepped it up a notch being in NXT, or they've put something together because I think they've done a great job. And pairing them up against, Imperium and Thatcher and Ciampa, I think been a great move for MSK. I think we never talked about the results. I think Roddy Strong wins the Cruiserweight title, and I think MSK retains.
The Cruiserweight division's non-existent, so I don't think it really matters. I'll go Kushida and MSK, but I could definitely see Roddy winning, which would be cool for Roddy.
Moving into NXT TakeOver 36 proper. I have no idea what any of the order of the matches is, so let's just go one by one. Starting off,
just go with the worst first.
Okay, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million Championship.
I have to watch this again.
The stipulation of this match is that if Grimes loses, Ted DiBiase must become LA Knight's butler. I don't know if that's a replacement of Grimes or if it's in addition to Grimes.
Does it even matter? So the reason this match is on pay-per-view again is that Cameron Grimes is over like Rover. Like, this guy has everyone loving him, and I think he gets his big win here for DiBiase and for the title. Cameron Grimes is very good.
I like how he loses the title, loses the ladder match, but now that it's for Ted DiBiase, he's going to step it up. I agree. I think this is the match where Cameron Grimes almost has to win. The problem is that LA Knight with the $1 Million Championship makes sense, but I think with Cameron Grimes, he almost has to win this match now. The stakes with Ted DiBiase are too high for Cameron Grimes to lose.
LA Knight's really old, so he needs to either get called up after this or he's getting released. So that's tough.
Also a great point, and that's the fear.
He'll probably get called up.
That's the fear. That's the fear, Scotty, with all of these people is.
Well, you're too old. You're done, or you're getting called up.
38 years old. The odds of him getting called up are not great, but also with any of these champions, it's like, I don't want to lose the title because I might get fired.
It's the guys like LA Knight where like the releases, no, but like the idea of wanting to change back to being under 30, I'm like, for your development brand, I understand, because like you're not developing LA Knight. He's pretty established. Like, he's not changing. So I get that in that sense. I think I totally know where they mean, but at the same time, like, let's not just outright cut these people. Like, I think LA Knight could add something to the main roster, for example, because he's exactly what Vince loves, which is a trash talking, fine wrestler who has a good build.
Yeah, who can cut promos for days.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cameron Grimes is gonna have to win here. I thought their ladder match previously was differently. Yeah, he's gonna go to the moon. I think the ladder match previously was fairly decent. It was definitely a different style and worked old school, which is that LA Knight mentality of not taking too many bumps. But I think at this point, Cameron Grimes almost has to win, and then we have to see whether or not this feud continues after that. What do you think?
Please, God, no.
Who do you think is going to win?
Cameron Grimes.
To the moon.
The moon. I love that the crowd chants that. That's probably my favorite thing of the entire Grimes thing, that they all chant to the moon. I'm like, how the hell did you get that over?
Next up, we're going to talk about is Walter versus Elia Draganov for the NXT UK Championship. The match obviously took place almost felt like years ago.
In the middle of nothing.
In the middle of the pandemic, NXT UK television. Great match. Critically acclaimed. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was a solid match. Amazing match between the two. And now
That's telling. He gave it 5 stars. That is legitimately telling people.
I did. I'm a rare 5-star giver. But now we're moving that title, doing the second one here in the States, in Florida, its own country itself. And seeing what happens with Walter versus Elia Draganov. I have thoughts about this match. I think this match is going to be great.
Signables de Walter. Let's go.
My concerns with this match are
crowd sucking.
No, I'm not concerned. The crowd's going to suck no matter what.
I fucking hate the crowd.
My concerns with this match is that it's not going to stay a singles match. I'm concerned that with Pete Dunne defeating Ilya Dragunov, with Dunne's contract seemingly coming up, to all of these news about NXT UK and these rumors and whatnot, and Walter not wanting to work in America but wanting to maybe move Ilya Dragunov over, I'm concerned that they're going to put Pete Dunne in this match, make it a triple threat, which will probably diminish the star quality of it.
I think it'd still be good. But
And then Pete Dunne wins. And then Pete Dunne pins Dragunov. And then
so
Dragunov's on that chase.
don't have that fear. I just, they've made it such a big deal, like the way they announced it. They're like, on August 22nd, Walter's coming to America. Like every time Walter is coming to America, it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Which it hell should be, because Walter's the freaking man. I think, one, this doesn't become a triple threat. Two, I understand your fear, because I could also see them making a triple threat and Walter not being in the finish.
Yeah.
Because Walter is like the most protected wrestler in the world, which is just crazy to think about. Like, he does not like losing, and he doesn't like not having titles. If what I think happens and Dragunov beats him, I think this is it for Walter in WWE, because if he's not going to America ever, which I don't know why he would, and he is losing the title, and these rumors of NXT UK possibly, dissolving potentially, I don't see a place for Walter. I don't see a place for Walter without the title, actually, because he's such a big attraction that you don't want to just have him doing like regular old matches on NXT UK. That he's a legitimate attraction. So I think Dragunov wins. This spells the end of Walter in WWE, and Walter's fantastic run that has had.
It looks like we lost Scotty there for a second. Let's see if he returns. I'm going to check my internet connection on top of that. But it looks like we lost Scotty there for a second. But I think we're both in agreement, basically, is that neither of us think Walter is coming out of this match with the title in hand. I don't think we'll see that happening. I think, if anything, Walter is going to lose. Whether or not NXT UK dissolves with all these rumors that are happening, who knows? Either it's going to be Ilya Dragunov. If they make it a triple threat, they'll probably put the title on Dunne. But I think Ilya Dragunov is also a solid person to win the title, win the NXT UK championship. I think that would just be a great move for him. Make a star. Why don't we? Let's make a star. I won't be happy if they put the title back on Pete Dunne, if they make it a triple threat and all that jazz. But we'll see what happens. Still lost Scotty again. He left the call. Let's see if he can re-enter and join us once more. But yeah, that's NXT UK Championship news. Scotty, you're back.
Dude, I have no idea what happened, but I heard everything you said. You said you'll be upset if Pete Dunne wins if he's entered into the match. And I wanted to make the point, I don't think Pete Dunne leaves WWE. That's the point I want to make.
I agree. Moving right along, let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship. Raquel Gonzalez defending her title against Dakota Kai over at NXT TakeOver 36.
I'm going to be sad when Dakota loses. I'm going to be really sad because I really like Dakota Kai. I think she's really good. And she and the age thing scares me the most. Because, like...
Who, Dakota Kai?
Yeah, because she's 33, I believe. And she's so good. And she's been deserving of an NXT women's title run for, I'd say, a couple of years now. And I don't understand why she's the heel in this feud. Like, there's no fucking chance I am cheering for Raquel Gonzalez. That being said, I would love Kai to win. I just don't have much hope because, especially with the age restricting, and she's been on the main roster like a few times for tryout matches. So either she's getting called up or she might be getting the cut, and that makes me very sad.
Yeah, I am also concerned about Dakota Kai. I agree that I don't understand why she's the heel here. I think she's got. I mean, just because she turned on her partner, that makes her the bad guy. But we can talk nonsense about WWE booking until the cows come home. It's very main rostery of a turn. It's just frustrating because of
I liked your video though.
I think it was a solid promo. But I couldn't watch it without thinking, why are you the heel right now? I agree with all these points. What's frustrating to me about Dakota Kai is that I almost just feel bad for her because she has this hot feud with Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox gets injured. She gets the new partner in Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai is the Shawn Michaels to Raquel Gonzalez's Diesel, right? And I think that's a solid pairing. And then over time, we put the title on Raquel, and Dakota just gets thrown to the wayside. And I totally think she's going to lose here. And it's just like, well, then what's next? Tegan Nox is on the on SmackDown. It's like it's the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn thing. It's like you almost have to have Tegan there for Raquel.
I think I know what the what's next is. If you want me to dive in, I will dive in. Unless you want to finish your point.
I just don't see her winning. I see Raquel retaining. I see Raquel retaining. I don't know who Raquel loses to eventually, but I'm just frustrated about Dakota.
I thought Dakota was winning until all of this behind the scenes type stuff happened, and that's when like the releases and the mandate to make it under 30. Like that's when I was like, oh, she probably isn't going to be able to win, which sucks. That being said, I think the move after her is all roads lead to Sarai winning the title. Like that's where I'm at. Like she's clearly someone they see in a very positive light. That being said, I'm wondering, since they've turned Raquel oddly babyface, if they're going to put the title on a heel first and then have Sarai win it, because what made sense to me was maybe Frankie Monet, but Frankie Monet is also up there in age. So I have no idea what's going to happen with all these people. I just know Sarai's winning that title eventually because she's actually under the age of 30, so she has a chance.
Raquel herself is also 30 years old, and Dakota Kai. I know, scandalous.
She's got time. She's got time.
You're right in turning Raquel face. It was obviously needed to come because she basically went through all of the faces, so she needed to turn face to go through the heels. Frankie Monet is an interesting person to defeat Raquel Gonzalez as like a chicken shit heel kind of person. Especially with now that they're creating.
Let's not have to be Mandy Rose.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Did you see? Can I just talk about that? The last NXT with the entrance Priscilla Kelly's Gigi Dolan and JC Jane's entrance.
No, I have no idea, by the way, who JC Jane is, but continue.
I think she was Avery Taylor. She was an Evolve person.
So she doesn't actually matter. Okay, cool.
But JC Jane, I don't know what she's doing, but she's like walking out doing this like strut that's like very comical to me, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And it just doesn't feel right to get next to Gigi.
I was happy that they were like, you know what, Gigi probably should start to matter soon because we're running out of people.
Yeah, but it's I guess we'll see where all that goes.
I repeat, all roads go to Sarai eventually.
I can see Frankie winning the title off of Raquel, and then Sarai being the person that go off and to face
Agreed.
Frankie,
which I have actually thought for a while now would be the road.
It all depends on if any more people from the main roster come down and they sign any people.
Who the hell knows what's happening, man? This is so hard. This is the hardest takeover of my life to predict.
It's I would say it's hard, but also all of us, we're both in agreement on all of these matches on how they're going to play out.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of matches, now we're going to get to the points where we actually don't really know. I think probably gonna be your semi-main will probably be for the NXT Championship. Samoa Joe taking on champion Karrion Kross with Scarlett in the corner. The belief for me, obviously,
Joe.
I think that's the belief with Karrion Kross going up to the main roster. I think the best thing for Triple H or whoever is now in charge or whatever is happening for NXT, best thing for Triple H to do, take the title off of Karrion Kross, put it to Samoa Joe, protect NXT a little bit as much as you can, because Karrion Kross is getting shifted over and losing to Jeff Hardy. So
I don't give a shit about Karrion Kross.
Me neither.
That's the whole thing.
The guy is not that great. Doesn't draw. Do all this stuff. Excuse me. I'm real burpy. I should not have had that cake smash. It's real bad for this podcast. But I think the right move here is to move the title to Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe can almost continue the story they were telling with Karrion Kross as that dominant champion. I think it'd be interesting to see Samoa Joe wrestle again. We haven't seen him wrestle in quite a while. So I think he's going to win the title. I can look that up for certain. But I think Samoa Joe.
He wrestled in February of last year.
I think Samoa Joe's going to win this title.
If Samoa Joe doesn't win this title, I might freak out. Samoa Joe has given the life that NXT needed for a while now. Just his overall presence feels important. His overall, anytime he does anything, feels important. And it's proving to me, and proving a lot of people right, that Samoa Joe still has it all. I will see his in-ring, but his promo work is masterful. And he's just that presence that should be a main eventer anywhere he is. And I just am so happy to see Joe wrestling again. I absolutely love Samoa Joe. He's one of my favorites. He's one of, I'm willing to say he's one of the best all time in terms of what he brings to the table and his years of work, whether it be Ring of Honor, where he was more in-ring based, to TNA/Impact, where he really put it all together. And his NXT work has been great. First run, so far, second run. And he should have been. He made you believe. This is the perfect line of Samoa Joe. He made you believe he could beat Brock Lesnar clean in the middle of the ring. That is not something everyone can do. So, Samoa Joe's the man.
Samoa Joe has the ability to just talk you into the arena, talk you into the match. He's just great at promos. So you believe also Samoa Joe? It sounds like.
Yeah, I'll be pissed otherwise. Get Karrion Kross out of here. He's the reason NXT. Never mind.
I was going to say he's one of many reasons, if anything. And then probably your main event, Kyle versus Adam Cole. 2 out of 3 falls match. Kyle. Fall number 1 is a singles match. Fall number 2, street fight. Fall number 3, steel cage match. Very similar to the
who doesn't love copy and pasting exactly what happened 2 years ago?
To that Johnny Gargano Adam Cole match. Thoughts on this match, Scotty?
The goodbye to Adam Cole. Can't wait. Cannot wait. I am definitely picking Kyle to win this, first off. Second off, I'm actually looking forward to this match. I think it definitely has a chance to be better than the first two, because unlike the Gargano feud, which I thought they had no chance of being better than the first two, because the 2 out of 3 falls had all that emotion. And I was actually live there for when Adam Cole won the title. No big deal, just saying. I loved both of those matches, so that 3 out of falls match didn't matter to me at all. This one, I feel like the way these two know each other can be really good.
Yeah, I think this match could definitely be better than the Gargano 2 out of 3 falls match there. I think the question here is, I think Kyle is going to win here. The question is if this is the last we see of Adam Cole.
I'm praying it is in NXT.
I think it could be, but who knows? Hard to speculate on that. I think the issue with all these matches with Adam Cole lately, I almost want him not to be in NXT just because I think he's part of it, is that this match is one of those matches that's going to be like 50 minutes long, and it's going to start to get overindulgent, I fear. And I just get concerned with that, because I think the falls will help it. I hope so. It didn't really help it for me for the Gargano match. I'll be honest.
No, no, but again, I think this is different in the sense that the first two matches with Kyle weren't as good as the first two with Gargano. Like the first two with Gargano, I was done. I was like, okay, those were great. We can move on. I'm still looking for that signature match because a lot of people go on task of saying that Cole Gargano first one, the 2 out of 3 falls, very well might be the best match in NXT history. You know that can be debated all day, but it's very good, and I don't think Kyle and Cole have come close to that. So that's why I'm hopeful this does really well. But 2 out of 3 stage, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's a tough one. It's always tough. It's always tough to tell that story and make it interesting. I think if this is Adam Cole's last night, which I think he'll know by then if it is, because people don't understand how smart Adam Cole is, and he's a very big WWE fan. Like this is where he always wanted to be, but he understands and has seen himself. He understands what he looks like and the way he might be booked. I don't think he'll be dumb enough unless Vince's pitch to him on SmackDown a week ago was the best pitch Vince has ever given, because it's going to be tough to keep Cole there. And if this is the goodbye match to Adam Cole without us fully knowing, I think he's going to go all out, especially for his boy Kyle. So it should be interesting.
Well, we got about 5 minutes left. Do you want to quickly run over SummerSlam, preview that, and get out of here?
Yeah, we can just do the big matches.
Sure. Sure, we can do that.
Because
so we'll skip over Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. We'll skip over Sheamus versus Damian Priest.
Darn.
It's hard to determine what is a big match here. Edge versus Seth Rollins, is that a big match?
That is a big match.
Yeah, maybe there's history behind there between Edge and Seth Rollins.
Even if the build hasn't been like amazing, it's a big match. Like anything with a part-timer tends to be considered a big match for WWE. And I'm definitely interested to see how that goes. To me, the match was always going to be better than the build. Just the way those two wrestle. And, you know, Seth is at a point where he's beyond stale as a character.
Yeah.
Which it's not probably his fault. He probably doesn't have much say in if he gets to continuously be this boring ass heel. And Edge, you know, I've liked a lot of Edge matches since he's come back. Not all of them. Not all of them. I did not enjoy the WrestleMania match. The Randy Orton one, not the triple threat. I thought the triple threat was great. I think this will be a big moment for Edge.
Yeah, I think the issue is what, you know, I think my concern is that I think this will be a big moment for Edge. Hopefully this will be more of a coming out party for him, because I fear that he might be getting surpassed by Christian at this point. But it's at the same breath, it's also like if you're WWE and you're doing it smart, you almost have to have Seth Rollins win here so that he can go on and challenge Roman. And unless whatever's happening with this draft or whatever other nonsense. You almost want Seth Rollins to win, but then it's like, well, then he's the heel. Does the feud continue? What's happening? It's a bunch of concern. And that's, I think, also the issue of Edge is that he needs to be more of these side stories. And be almost a gatekeeper as a sense to go up until Roman.
Here's the thing: I don't think Edge needs to win the title in his whatever length of this final run is. I don't think he ever needs to be champion.
Agreed.
So I'm definitely in agreement with the gatekeeper idea and having these big matches before he wraps it up, because this is a big match for him. This is one of those matches that people have wanted for a couple of years, especially based off the 7-year thing where he almost broke his neck or whatever, yada, yada, yada. I think a perfect way to do it is you could sell that curb stomp like death because of Edge's neck. Like, that's how you can take Edge off TV until like Survivor Series, and you can get Seth Rollins over that much more, which is probably your goal if you want him to face Roman at, say, Survivor Series.
I did also just have the thought of Seth is also the heel, and Roman's a heel, so I don't know what's going to happen from there. But with
you gotta turn Seth face.
with the teases of bringing back up the Shield in the history and the lore, maybe
John Moxley's gonna win the title. You're right.
there we go, baby. John Moxley returns to WWE.
Oh, please don't do that to him. He'll never.
We'll skip Usos, Mysterio.
You sure will.
I don't know if this is necessarily these are big matches, but Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks.
That's a big match.
And the Raw Women's title, the triple threat with Nikki, Ash, Flair, and Ripley.
No. The only thing I'll predict about that is Becky Lynch is coming back on SummerSlam.
We've been predicting Becky Lynch is returning every pay-per-view at this point.
But this has to be the surprise they wanted to keep, because they gave people Cena, they gave people Banks back, I guess fucking Goldberg's a surprise, but I'm not saying he's a surprise. They gave those three for this show. You save a very big surprise for SummerSlam. They've already been teasing a big surprise for SummerSlam. Like, they have put that in their marketing. And they did that last year too, with Roman coming back out of nowhere. So
it's true.
It has to be Becky showing up. Otherwise, what the hell are we doing here? Because clearly she's ready to go. Like, she is in better shape now than she was when she was on top of the world. So, like, just bring her back already. She's either your second biggest star or your first biggest star in terms of popularity. So just fucking pull the trigger.
And then Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks as well for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think this is going to be a good match. I don't know if it'll hold up to the WrestleMania match.
Gonna be tough.
I think it's gonna be it's a tough spot to be put in, but I think it's gonna be a good match nonetheless.
Yeah, that's really how I feel about it. I'll be shocked if Bianca loses, but if they want to give Sasha another reign and have Bianca take a little back seat for a few, or maybe, the draft could have a lot of change on this too. Maybe they want to move Bianca, move Sasha. Who the hell knows anymore? It's going to be tough.
When is the draft?
We have, I think the date's back to October now. There's no official date, but I think Zarian had said it moved from September to October and November.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up because I'm looking at one article that says Andrew Zarian of the Matman podcast said 8/30/9/3 were the two dates for the draft, which is a little over a week after SummerSlam. So I have to see if I can find a follow up to that. The draft will be the big question with all this stuff. Yes, got moved over. Oh, wait, no, that's 2020.
I got you right now.
10/4. 10/4.
10/4. Yeah, that sounds right.
10/1.
Yeah.
The first week of October, basically.
Yeah.
That'd be the question.
That works. Yeah, I mean,
I like. What about this? Bianca retains. Becky Lynch debuts on Bianca.
I would like that. I would like that a lot.
Let's put her over to SmackDown.
Yeah, keep her from the bad show. That sounds good to me. The really bad show. Let me rephrase. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for a potential Becky anything, because I think a lot of us like Becky, even if it's just in the case that she's very likable and she adds a certain star quality to them that they need. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm sure Sasha in a more heelish vibe can make this match different from the first one, because she wasn't fully heel then. Now she is. So yeah, should be interesting.
Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg for the WWE
who the
Championship.
Fuck cares? Bobby Lashley wins. If Bobby Lashley loses, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. God, dude, the fact that Goldberg is on this show and is getting paid like $3 million to do this, while I have to watch like Bronson Reed and Aleister Black get cut. God bless for Aleister Black, he's already better off. That being said, you get my point. Who the fuck cares? Just, if Bobby Lashley doesn't smash him, I'm going to be very upset, because I think Bobby Lashley, for as bad as Raw has been a very good world champion.
I agree. I think they've been building up and booking Bobby Lashley great for the past year, maybe 2 years with Bobby Lashley. I think he's been doing a great job. They're almost set it up that Bobby Lashley has to defeat Goldberg, and that can really define him define Bobby Lashley.
Dude,
I think
it would make no sense to have Goldberg win because they don't have anyone built up to beat Goldberg.
yes,
That's why I feel like this is a layup, unlike the time when Drew was facing Goldberg, because that you could say like, oh, they just want to give Drew another big win or do something else, like when that was happening. This is very different. There is no one being built up to face Bobby Lashley. I think clearly all roads point to Big E cashing in when he moves over brands.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I could see him like maybe do a traditional cash in instead of like after a match, because I think that's the better way to get Big E his world title. Personally, I think as a babyface, having him do like the Rob Van Dam style versus the Jesus, I can't think of any baby faces that cash in and stay baby faces.
That one and then the cashed it. CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk was babyface the first time. He turned heel pretty much with the second one. So yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think he's better off if he does it traditionally. I'd save that for WrestleMania personally, because I think Bobby Lashley versus Big E is definitely a solid second match to Roman versus probably Dwayne. So
That's true. Speaking of Dwayne and CM Punk, WWE Universal Championship match: Roman Reigns against John Cena. What do you think the odds are of John Cena winning? I think that's the question of the $1 million question here is, what are the odds John Cena wins it? I fear that they are getting higher as we get closer to Punk returning to AEW.
I can't. Okay, that's actually very funny because, like when this was rumored to be happening, I was like, "Well, there's a 0% chance he wins. There's no way they do that." That being said, as the weeks have gone on, I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, you know what, we're gonna give it to Cena, and then he can lose it like very quickly after, like maybe a week or two or something. To not one, pop a rating on like SmackDown or something. Two, give Cena number 17. Also, when Ric Flair got released, that's when I was like, oh, they might want to just break his record, because Vince could be like petty and be like pissed at him and be like, you know what, we're giving Cena number 17, which I think Cena should be the one to break that, because it's not a record that I think many people care about, because Ric Flair's world titles are a weird conversation to have. But that being said, I'm about like 25% for Cena winning right now.
I'm maybe like 33. I'm like a 33 and a third chance of winning here. It's
I would be,
if you want to be in the news, John Cena wins the title. John Cena could then return and face your Seth Rollins. He can do a match against Edge, and then Roman wins back at Survivor Series. Rock debuts. We head off to WrestleMania for that match.
Here's the thing with Roman, though. If he doesn't lose now, which I don't think in the end, they've clearly built up the Finn Balor feud for his next big feud for the title, I think, which is a great idea. I think that's a perfect story to run probably for 2 pay-per-views before Survivor Series. But if Roman wins here, he'll beat Finn. There's no way they're putting the title on Finn, as much as people would love that.
John Cena, Finn Balor, though. But continue.
Balor did tease that, which I thought was interesting. Who the hell beats Roman Reigns? Because it's not going to be The Rock. There's no chance The Rock beats him. The Rock might not even compete against him for the title. It might have to be a tag match, as we've read before in the past. I doubt that happens. I think he'll commit to a singles match.
Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns against Dwayne The Rock Johnson and John Cena.
I mean, that'd be a huge match, but no, that's not happening.
The Shield reunites. Special guest referee Jon Moxley.
Oh yeah, totally. I don't. So my whole thing is, who beats Roman? Because this title reign is going to be over a year and 2 weeks, I believe.
Sure.
Yeah, it sounds right. And there's no clear contender, which, you can build one by the time WrestleMania comes around. Like, I always thought Big E was the perfect answer, but it's clear they're not going to wait that long. Which is fine. I don't think you should wait that long to give Big E his moment. And if you get the chance at booking The Rock, you book The Rock. I understand that. You don't pass up having The Rock wrestle in anything, probably his retirement match against Roman Reigns, because the story there is undeniably better than Big E getting his big moment. That being said, if they were smart, which they aren't, you move over Keith Lee to SmackDown and you start to gradually build him up. And your destination for Roman finally losing, SummerSlam next year. I know that's a very long title reign, but I don't really care. Like, I think you can keep the title on Reigns. If you're gonna have him fight The Rock and John Cena, yeah, like those are two big matches. You build up Keith Lee. Keith Lee beats Roman Reigns, and it's reminiscent of that moment I actually tweeted out yesterday from the Survivor Series match where those two just absolutely rocked the house that night when he hit the Spirit Bomb and Reigns kicked out. Absolutely great stuff. And I think after what Keith Lee posted this week, if you don't see money and easy build in a pure baby face like that, then you need to stop working in this role, my friend. I'm talking about Vince.
I was about to say, I was like, Vince may see money, but Vince also sees someone that got sick for however long, and I don't know if Vince likes that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's
you get sick or get hurt, Vince won't push you because he doesn't like.
Yeah, Sasha Banks dealt with that for like 3 years because she got hurt like 4 different times, and they were like, "Well, maybe we'll just never crown you."
They're unreliable.
Great.
Well, yeah, John Cena can be gone for a year and come back, and maybe win a title.
I wouldn't even be mad if Cena won because, like, I love Cena and Cena's great, and his promo of destroying him by bringing up how he destroyed the Shield, and like that was awesome. So do whatever you want. I don't.
Roman's and I think that's also my thoughts around John Cena potentially winning is that you get Bobby Lashley beating Goldberg, which I think is the right move and right rub for Bobby Lashley. But then you got John Cena. Then we have we're building both of the part-timers. We're beating both of them in one night. I think that's kind of there's a little bit of a red flag there. You mentioned the really long title reign. You can break it up by having John Cena hold it for 2 months until this movie is wrapped, and then put it back on Roman at Survivor Series or whatever in November.
Right.
And then that broke up that title reign there.
Unless
they
bring Brock back. That's never out of the question, Mr. Lesnar, because there's clearly a story there with Paul Heyman being, just remembered Brock. I miss Brock.
The question will be whether or not Brock loses to that as well. Are we going to beat Cena, Brock, Dwayne? Then who beats Roman there? Build up someone. You have to build up someone.
Whoever the fuck beats Roman gets the biggest rub WWE's given out in years.
Yeah, and that's my fear. Is that at that point are we at Cena levels where he can't be beaten? Can you build up someone enough by time April rolls around? Is it Big E? Is he going to do the Money in Bank cash in? These are the questions. I think Roman Reigns is the safe choice, but I think business-wise, you need a real kick in the ass to get going here. John Cena would be very interesting to put on, but I think a safe choice and more obvious choice is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Reigns, but man, if Cena won, that'd be kind of awesome. Just because, like, the world would explode and Cena would be a champion, and I hope he does the kiss thing and leaves even though it makes 0 sense.
It'd be great. I would love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a long show.
Yes, that was it. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for even longer. I don't know why this isn't like a live show, so maybe eventually. We'll kick the IWTV I-100 review to the curb. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Probably not, just because it'd be so far away at that point.
CM Punk.
And we got more interesting happening things Next week, there's Triple Mania obviously happening. By the time you're hearing this, it already happened. We got another episode of Rampage in the books at United Center in Chicago. So maybe things will happen there.
The first dance.
Or maybe we'll see Jamie Hayter in action.
That'd be cool. I'd be cool with that. I'd be happy about that.
And we got a bunch more Stardom well, maybe not necessarily more Stardom matches, but
CM Punk.
Definitely more interesting things. And every single week, there's interesting things happening in the wrestling universe.
That would have been great.
There's also going to be, there's also Impact Emergence, Ring of Honor, Glory by Honor, GCW off the rails all next Friday.
Christian Cage versus Brian Myers. Just what everyone asked for.
Get strapped in, baby. So yeah, we'll talk about all that hopefully and more next week. Thank you so much, Scotty. Scotty, anything to plug?
Shit. Okay.
You can listen to Scotty on Fight Game Media's 5-Star Joshi podcast.
I got it.
God, do you? Because I threw it to you, my dude. And...
You can listen to me Fight Game Media Joshi 5-Star Joshi podcast. You can check out articles of mine at lastwordonsports.com/pro wrestling, voicesofwrestling.com, dailyddt.com. Oh boy, fightgamemedia.com, and what's the other one? InsideTheRopes.com as well. I probably missed something. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know. You can follow me at Ryan Knightsey on Twitter. Like we said in the ad at the top of the show, you can also support both of us by becoming a member of the Countout. That is going, of course, to countoutpod.com/membership. Sign up today to get that exclusive audio, and that support will really mean a lot to us. Scotty, I just have a little bit of this drink left. I'm going to finish it off as we close the show. So thank you, everybody, and have a good one.
CM Punk.
Ooh, chugging it is a bad idea.
Just chugged cake liquid.
Hi guys, this is Lauren, your proud host of Your Dose of Death. Just give me a little quick tune in to make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death. Each and every single episode, I provide a different lens into the world of deathmatch, whether it be wrestlers, content creators, or anyone in between. Make sure to listen to me each and every single episode to get a different lens into the death. And please, make sure to listen to Your Dose of Death.
This has been a Countout Podcast.